Hello and welcome to Let's Look at Ender Lilies, a charming metroidvania style game. Let's jump right into it, shall we? You seem to be awake, and none the worse for wear. Did I frighten you? You can thank the priestess for my incorporeal form. Do you remember what fate befell this land? So you've lost your memories as well. Let us be rid of this place for now. It may be best for you to see the state of things outside for yourself. All right, and we're in the action. And of course there's a secret on the left. There's quite a bit of lore and secrets to be found. Most of it dialogue, a lot of dialogue to read through. Let's see. Stone inscription. Stone statues in the likeness of the white priestesses. The inscription below the surviving statue reads, Priestess of the Dawn. Excuse me. While the destroyed statue seems to have been one of the priestesses of the wind. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Got that frog out my throat. Now, you start off with very few abilities. And at level 1, as is kind of usual. Now, X to jump, square to attack. And we start off with a 3-hit combo with our mysterious knight. Curiously enough, we've got this young girl as main character, and she doesn't actively participate in combat, and she's kind of like sheepishly stumbling around. The dodge is just a leap out of danger, so there is a dodge button on the circle, so it's already is it standard circle? I think so. Although, no, it's not standard circle. Dodge is mapped to R2 normally, but I changed that mapping. The attack buttons become square, triangle, circle for the free equipable abilities. You can move between 2 move sets. And I've opted to make circle the dodge button because it's more close to, well, I don't have such good reaction speed in the shoulder buttons. I have a much faster reaction speed in the thumb main keys for the controller. So for me, I'm not going to do much dodging with R2, that's all I'm saying. That's why I mapped that to circle, and I swapped out the third skill to R2, and I figure I'm going to put a more thoughtful and deliberate skill in that button. Do not be afraid, wield my power as your own, you seem more than capable. So the tutorial. I really like the backgrounds and the environments in metroidvania games. Well done. Okay, dodge. Now they tell me how to dodge. This is a Dark Souls character. Sword and shield. Blocking all the time. Can't do nothing about it. We're gonna dodge through them. Attack them from behind. Elaine's letter. Dear Secret, I want you to deliver the amulet unto that white priestess. It's a necklace I bestow upon all priestesses, but I've imbued it with a blessing. I'm certain the ward will protect her from the threats of the Blighted. Wards can be broken and restored, but that is something only a priestess can manage. I count on you to see this through. Yours, Elaine. Menu, all manner of information. Amulet fragment. Increases max HP by 5. Part of an amulet worn by a white priestess, the tiny shattered fragment still glows with faint light. On the Blighted, number 1. As the mind, body, and soul of those afflicted with the blight is consumed, the rot spreads throughout. The rot possesses superb regenerative properties, granting undying flesh. The link between mind and body is cut in time, and the host is driven purely by the wrath of the blight. Hollowing, basically. Respites. Bonfires. Respites act as checkpoints. Resting will restore your HP along with spirit and prayer uses. Resting will call forth all defeated Blighted to walk the land once more. Yep, so the enemy resets checkpoint use. It's kind of amazing what an influence that Dark Souls has had on video games. I truly believe that the last 10 years, maybe the next 10 years, it has been pretty much the most influential video game to ever come out. Well, ever. In the last 10 years, if you see the amount of games to which actually use the same kind of systems that Dark Souls has. And I'm not even sure if it's the first to use them, it's just like the most obvious combination of certain aspects. And then this this idea of a fantasy post-apocalypse. I don't know if that's new, maybe not, but Dark Souls definitely turned into a really popular genre, especially you see it a lot here in the Metroidvanias. and the 2D games, where you've got, well, the world's over, everyone's a zombie, kind of, and then you go out there and have fun. And also you have checkpoints, and when you take these checkpoints, everyone comes back. Also, you probably have some kind of currency, and when you die, you could go back and pick up that currency. There's a dodge button. Yeah, I don't know, there's all this stuff. I think they took elements that were probably existing in other properties and they just mixed them all together into something that's near perfect. And a very good formula. And now everyone's using it. Using a respite will restore your status and save the game. Great. We actually don't have many options at this point. This will do nothing. None of these buttons work. Only save and depart will work at this moment. Now when you sit on the bench, the camera zooms in to our main character and whatever spirits she has equipped, and she cycles through a number of idle animations, which is pretty neat. And you can even hide the UI by pressing triangle, and there you go. And you could just sit down and enjoy the music in the background, and it's an extremely chill game. I've been enjoying it tremendously. Yeah, I'm not planning to do a full playthrough of it. I think it would take me too long, because I play this game like just running through. I run back and forth through zones quite often, because it's got one of those metroidvania things where you'll unlock a new ability and then you'll go back and try and figure out where it has to work. But it's got some crazy rooms, and I've already spent quite a lot of hours just running back and forth through zones, dispatching enemies and not knowing what to do and kind of being stuck. So yeah, that doesn't lend itself well to a Let's Play. However, it is quite relaxing gameplay and ideal to have like something on the side open, like listen to a YouTube podcast or playlist, or just listening to some of the beautiful music in the background. Yeah, or watch an anime, do whatever. There are Blighted whose minds do not fade. This is no saving grace, however, as it is said that they must endure an eternity of pain and suffering. The miracle of the White Priestess is the only true salvation for those who come to be cursed with the blight. It's one of those... It's like a zombie type of thing, isn't it? It's like you're immortal, but the bad kind of immortal. It's the you're decaying but cannot die type of immortal. Not the I'm a vampire and I'm eternal youth, eternal life, no problems, no issues. Nope. You gotta hit me with an attack like that. People compare this game a little bit to Hollow Knight. But I think it's just because they're both metroidvanias that came out recently. And it's not wrong. The movement is quite fluid and very smooth. The combat is interesting. You, kind of like Hollow Knight, also equip your abilities in the form of these spirits and benches. With Hollow Knight, it's a little bit of something else. You don't have spirits to attack in that game when you're attacking yourself, but you can equip items which will change your gameplay significantly. Curious. I wonder, is this the only way forward? Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, you can fall down here. Whee. Enemy right out of a horror game, that. But Bloodborne-esque at moments. Part of an amulet worn by a white priestess. The tiny shattered fragment still glows when you make it. Alright, I've already read that. So you'll find health increases all over the place. You'll level up. Not exactly sure what leveling up does for you, but it happens. And when you die, you actually lose pretty much nothing. You just reset to your last checkpoint, and you carry on. And you lose pretty much nothing. Like the checkpoints, they don't even work as save points to save what you've got at up until that point. Because sometimes you'll come across games, you'll hit the checkpoint, and if you die, you'll lose your progress since that checkpoint. But in this case, you can kind of make suicide runs like you could do in Dark Souls. Of course, in Dark Souls you drop a currency in the form of souls when you died, so you would have some form of loss. But I think that was something that was a change for me when I first played Dark Souls. Just the idea of you could just run straight through and pick up something. You wouldn't lose it when you got defeated. Because most of the time in games, you would revert to a save point. Either you would revert to a manual save or to your last checkpoint save. And if you went forward and picked up items, died, you just assumed those items they're replaced in the world. You've dropped them. They've not been picked up since your previous checkpoint. So you have to go back and pick them up. But this game doesn't do that. You can explore all your exploration and all of the items you've picked up and the achievements you've done before you die. They remain. Upon death, you just get reverted to your last checkpoint location. It's extremely forgiving on the death front. So that's another aspect that makes the game extremely relaxing to play. The Parish Way 1. Carriers of the curse appeared from the land of snow, bringing calamity to Land's End. Said to be the ancients' revenge, the curse drove people to madness and transformed them into monstrosities. Carriers of the curse came to be known as the Blighted. Oh, there goes the music. Tainted by the blight, never to die. We call those creatures the Blighted. Another useful feature this game has, here's the pause menu. So it shows your playtime and it carries on in the menu, which is curious. Your level, L2 out of 100. Interesting. So you can only keep leveling up to 100. I'm not sure what levels do in this game. Yeah, haven't figured that out yet. Blight? Anyway, you've got 2 sets of abilities that you can set at a time. We've only got 1 skill, but you can cycle between 2 movesets, which is nice. You can equip relics, which is like Hollow Knight, where you can equip like game-changing items. They're pretty decent items that you can equip. Your abilities. This is the metroidvania aspect. This is what we can do now, and we will get new abilities as time goes on. Of course, our collected items, which pretty much everything that you can collect in this game seems to be text, lore, and the map. I'm exactly a fan of the R to zoom. I actually prefer L to R2 to zoom. Can't change that, but not the worst thing in the world. Now, a useful feature this game has is it actually tells you when you've completed an area and picked up all of the key items, like collectibles, key items, equipable items, which is quite useful. I like that. It's very useful in knowing if you have to return to an area, if there's still a secret to be found. And the red dots you see connecting to the rooms are exits that you have not found yet, which is quite useful. A quite useful feature. I appreciate that, because otherwise you constantly have to try and remember, did I get everything in that room? And Hollow Knight, this is a simple solution to a problem that you could say Hollow Knight may have had. Is where, and we're about to come across a boss here. I'll just finish this thought. Well, they introduced pins, and in the free updates Hollow Knight had, it had a couple of expansions. They increased the number of pins you could have, and you had to buy them at the store. And they would allow you to mark locations on the map, but you'd always run out towards them, later areas of the game, because you just don't have enough pins to mark all of the, secret locations in every room that you can't make any progress through in Hollow Knight. So sure, it's a band-aid on the problem of having to a gigantic game with all kinds of rooms. They just have to memorize, where have I been, where do I still need to go, where can I use this ability, where can I use that ability. The thing is, it's not, the problem is exponentially worse if you ever take a break from the game. If you play other games and then you come back to a metroidvania, well, good luck trying to figure out exactly where, in which rooms that you'd been before, that an ability that you may have recently picked up can now lead you onto further locations. That's, I think, is a Metroidvania problem in general, and one that just comes with the genre. It's, yeah, I guess nothing's perfect, but yeah, if there's any kind of game that you have to spend a lot of energy trying to memorize, I think it's definitely the Metroidvania type of game. Here is thick with the rot of the blight. Take heed. To protect her, I must destroy, 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 destroy. bosses in this game have multiple phases. They're actually quite tough. The soundtrack also changes as you get through phases and bosses. It has really good. Whoops. I was supposed to protect you. All right, the Reign of Death. Well, damn. That reminds me of Rain World. Another interesting game. 2D action exploration game, really. Can't really call it metroidvania, like, because you don't really get new abilities. Very curious game, that. Very, one of a kind. Also, a little bit of Scarlet Nexus in there, especially when you consider a Reign of Death. It's a different kind of rain in that game, no? So what have we got here? Guardian Sigrid. Swings an iron ball to attack surrounding enemies. Sub-skills have a cooldown and limited number of uses, but can be used in conjunction with other skills. Sigrid guarded the sept to protect the White Priestess Lily. Never-ending bloodshed caused her to be consumed by madness. Guardian's Leap. Double jump. The blighted wings of Guardian Sigrid grant an extra jump while midair. Alright. And the tutorial actually shows you that one room where we can now get an extra item by returning to, which is pretty cool. The soul has been purified, no longer imprisoned by blight. Within that memory just now, the woman called you Lily. Surely that is your name. If you retrace the memories of the blighted in life, you may just remember something yourself. It may prove difficult, but can you carry on? I mean, well, we could also do this. We could give up. We could stop. The game's too difficult. Why are you complaining about the game? You can always quit and play another game. Why not? What are you worried about? Yeah, the bosses being cleansed, reminiscent to me of Code Vein. Pick up soiled prayer beads. Slightly increases maximum HP. A rosary worn by the White Priestess Guardian. Extensive training took place on the ground until someone was chosen to be her protector. Yeah, it's kind of a battle royale. Okay. You possess Blighted spirits. With skills at your disposal, spirits can be equipped at your spirits. You have a relic. Relics can be equipped at your spirits. Alright. Equip that in both slots. See a little number representing which set they're equipped to as well. And then our relic. Slightly increased maximum HP. Ching. Now we've got 2 slots. It works in the Hollow Knight system, where certain relics, all relics will have a value, and you'll have a slot value. So we have 2. We can fill 2 slots of 1 slot relics. We can have 2 of those, or we can have 1 2 cost 2 slot relics. So yeah, different relics have different value of how much slots they take up. So it looks like we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Looks like we have 14 equipment slots for relics, but that's not what slots means. Slots are points, equipment points, and we've got 2 equipment points, and this relic costs 1 equipment point, and you can increase this by finding items. So that'll increase over time. And here we see our new spirits. And when you rest at the respite, the bench, and you'll see whatever equipped spirits are in your currently active set. So if I was to unequip Siegfried from this set, then she would disappear. There you go. And she's gone. And she's back. It's a pretty cool first skill to get. It's like a turret, kind of, but a melee turret. You put it down, and it attacks. It gives you some strategic fighting options from the very start of the game. It's a curious thing. You'll set it down. You can also set her down, dodge the enemy, and ka-cha, ka-cha, ka-cha. You can kind of like wombo combo, kind of pincer attack your enemies. Pretty cool. It's true you have limited uses, but yeah, you've got different spirits you can find, and when you have 3 slots equipped, and usually you'll have, I think it's a good idea to keep 1. You'll find spirits with infinite uses. This one we start off with is already pretty decent in and of itself. Are you alright? Don't push yourself. Take a rest. So I mentioned how this game just feels relaxing to play. There's nice music to listen to. Your main character is constantly just hanging out on benches. Summoner of Light. the rain of death. Is that what he said? I'll go far a little faster. Chaos had taken the villagers long before even my arrival. But did the rain end them, or the Blighted? My bond with the priestesses is a perennial one. I may not be able to lead the charge in this form, but my blade is yours. Don't look surprised. You think me the sort of wretch to leave the child out in this horrid rain? Let us trudge on. Do you recognize them? It's a curious thing. It's a form of a horse? Some kind of chariot? Seems they lost consciousness before succumbing to the madness. He's using the plural pronoun, but I think he's more like choosing a neutral pronoun. So it's like a creature of indeterminate gender. So when I first read this, I thought, damn, oh, there's more of them. So they're like, there's just a second horse behind this one because it's 2D. I can't see him, but I think it's just the one horse. They don't appear to be a threat, but best keep your distance. That's a lie. Groa's letter. Dear Baal, thank you for your continued service in ferrying the White Priestess and her guardians. My son hopes to one day be as fine a couchman as you, to ride as gallantly on as fine a horse. Please do call on us when we visit the parish. Blessed be the tranquil white lights, Chief Guardian Groa. Yeah, the one that I read that as couchman, coach. The bleakness of the world. Different areas have different tone and feel to them, and the soundtrack is based off of what area you're in. So certain areas will just feel completely different depending on the backgrounds and the OST. Some areas feel quite not so bleak, mysterious feel to them. I think people definitely end up having their own personal favorite zones. Red and white flowers. Right. So basically, you can recover health heals. You have 3 Estes healings, prayers, and if you hit a white flower, it'll either heal you or restore a prayer. If you have full prayers, then it'll just heal you. And you also find red flowers, which will give you back skill uses. And you'll also find skill uses just in breakable items. So it's not as bad, the limited skill uses. Oh well, look at that. The enemy could break this flower. Cheeky bugger. Anyway, sometimes the game reminds me of Salt and Sanctuary. times. Also, Rose in the Twilight. It's more like a puzzle game where you would explore through a castle-like area, also with a little girl main character who has a golem accompanying her. So you've got this puzzle game where she could go through small areas and she'd have her own abilities, and the golem would be able to lift heavy objects and do all kinds of stuff. A puzzle game, pretty fun. I think I got the platinum on that one. It's on PS Vita. I like it when these kind of games appear on handheld. You know, the 2D style puzzle games sometimes, metroidvanias definitely. This is on Switch, actually released on Switch before it released on PlayStation 4. And the animations are very cutesy. Also a curious thing, I don't think she ever directly attacks, to my knowledge. Like, we haven't got that many spirits yet. I can't really test that. I've got a save which is further in the game. Not that much further though. Yeah, I've got this on the Switch as well, and that's where I've got my furthest progress through the game. Then I've got my first save, which I didn't start up. I'm on a new save. Like a turret. It's gonna be a better... I think we can call that sentry? I don't know. You don't see an animation on that, but it doesn't lock her in place, Lily. It doesn't lock Lily in place in any way, so you can kind of just run set the skill while you do just run through. So it doesn't, it's got no stun on the character whatsoever, just do the skill. Of course, you do have to be free to take action. I took a hit there, and while I took the hit, I pressed triangle, and the skill didn't come out. So you do have to be able to take it or use the skill, but it doesn't lock your character in an animation. So it's quite safe to use because you're always free to take some kind of defensive maneuver and use it. So it's just a solid skill to have this earlier. Save me the pain, it's unbearable. Sure thing, Mr. Slimy. Spirits. A cliffside hamlet youth performs an arced leap and lands with enough force to scatter and damage surrounding enemies. Separated from his mother in the midst of a terrible storm, the boy set off for the White Parish in search of help. He never arrived. Oh, damn. Sad story. Now we do have to wait till we get to a bench to equip him. Excuse me, this... has he got a name? Helpful knight appears like a stand, like a JoJo stand. definitely a JoJo reference, of course. Because everything in the world is a JoJo reference. Hold, something approaches. Or rather, it follows. I sense no clear mind. It seems to be drawn by your amulet. Perhaps they were once in service of a white priestess. Is there a desire to assist us? You priestesses are a rare breed. Lovely. Fast travel is now accessible. You can now travel to any respite you have previously used. Which is pretty cool. And unnecessary. As metroidvanias go, this game does seem to be quite linear. Like, you'll unlock a new ability, and even though you'll find secrets in many locations you can access with this new ability, I do find quite often there's a single route that now is to be followed. There's like one room where there's a path that you can take which will actually lead you to further content and further abilities. There's not much. There's branching paths here and there, but when you get a new ability, there's not that many new routes you can take. There's usually just like the one route, and then you have to find it. And I have been stuck wandering around for hours trying to figure out where to properly progress. Of course, you can find new items with the new abilities, but you don't want to go back and traverse the entire game every time you get a new ability, you know what I mean? It takes, sometimes you just want to make a little bit of story progress, and you want to go back and explore when you've got a few new abilities, possibly. The parish way, too. Soldiers of the nation rose to face the Blighted, but struggled in vain. In the end, the prayers of the woman in white saved the kingdom. Her words, the only thing capable of purifying and stopping the Blighted. Revered by the people, this woman came to be known as the White Priestess. We definitely have to get a lore breakdown of this game at some point. Someone smarter than me is going to do it then. Well, that is a curious one though. Enemies in this game do take more damage, so if you manage to knock them off a cliff, then you often see them fall to their death, which is quite satisfying. So we do have a branching path here. So the area we just came from, called the Crossroads Respite. Wherever you are, you can always pause the game and return to the last respite, and there's no penalty for doing that. You won't lose any resources, it won't cost you anything. So if you're done exploring where you are, you can always head back to a fast travel point. And yeah, we're at the Crossroads. I thought it was the Crossroads for sure. So you can, this is one of those, this is we can progress upwards, or we can progress downwards. And I'm gonna go downwards, or should I go upwards? I think I'll go downwards. What a deep forest, and almost entirely submerged. Okay. I'm gonna do a bit of a speedish run, because there's a boss that I really enjoyed fighting, and I want to show it off. So I'm going to go over there and show that boss. I'm not too worried about picking up every item on my way. And again, I'm not really sure what leveling up in this game does. I haven't figured it out. It doesn't seem to be that ridiculously important. Poison. Bad. Okay, so you do find spirits here and there, and they're kind of one of those. I've seen this flower before. Where did I see it? The ungrown light. So that's his name. Well, the spirits. I forgot to set a new spirit in the second skill set. Yeah, I like the soundtrack to this thing. Very mysterious. Coven Handbook. The Coven is a place for sorcerers who seek deeper knowledge of magic and the abyss. We help the jointly established White Parish and aid in Blighted eradication when needed. You must meet the approval of multiple sorcerers to join, researching forbidden arts such as the magic of the ancients, wielding a weapon in the tower, and leaking intel to other nations are prohibited. Okay. Very specific things there. Magic of the ancients. There exists a place known as the Coven somewhere beneath us. The path forward may be flooded, but we must go on. Don't worry about it. I can move relatively faster because I'm already something where I'm going. Oop. Some of the rooms can be very devious in terms of the enemy layout. This was also the first time I saw that there's a flowing, like, ether screen going up into it. Just swim into it and quickly back up. It goes all the way down to you can go in there whenever you feel like it. Whee! Whee! pretty awesomely, the music is also muffled. That was so awesome. I was really impressed with the first time I noticed it. The Coven is sunken light. Oh no, and then you'll find the lights. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the bottom left of the screen. Those tokens are used to upgrade your spirits. So these abilities, they can be upgraded, and usually it's a damage increase. Sometimes it's an increase in number of uses, reduction in cooldown, or an increase in the number of times they attack. The most common things you'll see are increase in number of attacks and damage increase. So this one, for instance, Siegfried, I think you can upgrade her to get a 4th swing. And of course damage increases. No, this is not the way. Yeah, this is probably the way. Just quickly picking up an ability which will help against the boss fight. There we go. Melville, where are you? Floral sorceress. Harnesses the wind to blow away enemies before you. The charming sorceress, beset by grave illness, spent her days alone amongst flowers. She waited patiently for her lover's return. He left to seek a cure for her, but she only wished to be with him for what little time was left. A tragic story. Good. Now, normally you'd want to take your time and explore through the areas completely, looking for all the secrets you want to find. And quite often you'll be blocked for being able to complete a room because there'll be abilities that you just don't have, which are necessary to find all of the secrets. There we go. That's a useful attack. And it'll come in handy against the boss I want to say is the exploding range attack here doesn't really work much against this boss. forget the what's it? Ow. This is the last thing I want to show off in this. It's more like a video of praise. It's just a good game. Fun, relaxing. Definitely recommend it. And it's definitely claimed its place among the metroidvania games. It's nice to see the genre is still so lively. I think people have correctly, developers have correctly assessed that people really like the 2D exploration action games and metroidvania style, and it's nice to see the genre is doing as well as it's doing. Quite a few big games coming out here and there. Lily Mouse has just recently covered one of them. Gotcha. Of course, a lot of them indies, releasing on Steam. Always want to see them arrive to the PlayStation, because I don't do PC games. But then, you know, having a Switch really helps, because that seems to be a platform that indie games appear on much higher frequency than they do on PS4, which I do appreciate. I wonder when the next Hollow Knight game is going to come out. The Silk Song. Probably one of the most anticipated 2D action games. Soon. Who knows when it'll come out? When it's ready, I hope. Take your time, make it good, do it right. Closing in on the boss here, which is great. This is what I definitely want to show off as the last thing in the stream. Just gloating about the game, really great game. Yeah, definitely recommend. Not expensive, worth its money though. So let's have a look at this boss fight. Hello, Elaine. We're wondering which Elaine. It's actually an anime with called something like that. Which is This one reminds me of the Lady of the Lake boss. For some reason, he is a block to some players. I have no idea how. I mean, her abilities, not talking about this boss, but the equivalent, very obvious telegraph. This is this little machine gun attack, this one. This is very reminiscent of the when I say salt sound. Salt and sanctuary. This is what I mean. For some reason, I don't know why. It's like this is very glass cannon-y, you know. So with enough practice, eventually you're going to be able to take her out, because it's just a matter of hitting her hard a couple of times. The only way I see you struggle with her is if you were like that or something. Yep. That was just bad angles. Just got me in a bad spot. Oh, right. Let's try again. This way? The bosses in this game can be quite tough. That seems to be a new trend for metroidvanias, or maybe metroidvanias, having bosses with multiple health bars. Look at the boss's health bar and you say, well, I'll take some risks and I'll go hard and take some unnecessary damage because the boss is close to death. But then the health bar disappears and a new health bar appears, and then you realize, well, shit, now I've taken these risks and I've spent resources that I don't really have available. Close to starting. Final phase, I believe. music cycles through its phases just like that. So it'll start off with one soundtrack, second part of that soundtrack. So that's a pretty good combat. I think it just adds the tentacle strike to all of those stuff. Gotcha. Hey, are you in there? Beautiful. So, we've got Dark Witch Elaine. Fires ranged arcane projectiles. Projectiles will home in slightly on enemies in front of you. Elaine was raised in a coven of witches and was hailed as a gifted sorceress at an early age. Beating the priestess eased her anxieties and loneliness. Witch's Bubble. While in water, can move, attack, and dodge. Black magic wielded by Dark Witch Elaine that allows one to submerge, attack, and evade in any direction in Blighted waters. Right. Basically swimming. Up until this point in the game you cannot really move around properly in water. Just stick to the surface. You can't even dodge. So all of the enemies you've come up to cross by this point, you've been kicking your ass, all the aquatic enemies, and now you can finally take revenge Of course, this is kind of I went right to my target. I knew exactly where to go, and I came specifically to this location to show off this boss fight, just because I like it. But of course, when I was playing through normally, it took me quite a lot of time to make it here. And as I was exploring through this location, I came across a lot of water points with enemies that I couldn't do anything about. Though she may fade, the ward protecting the Coven shall ever remain. May you rest in peace. Okay. And she actually gives you a very strong ranged ability as well, which is very nice to have. Look, we can swim now and dodge water. Okay, you possess spirits that can be enhanced. Right. So this is usually a permanent fixture in my builds, or it has been throughout what I've played through the game so far. A really decent range, long range, aerial, aquatic, can be comboed 3 times, has a little bit of tracking, decent amount of uses. Yeah, it's just been something I've usually had on me, and it helps you deal with tough enemies that you don't want to get too close to. If I remember where it is. If it's not there, I'll just end this thing. I know of a decent item that works well with this newfound aquatic ability. Could it be there? Not there. Oh, hold on. Where did I just come from? Oh, silly me. Actually, right after you defeat the boss, the respite right before the boss, actually the water area below here will lead you to the place where you get a decent item. Now in this zone there are 2 equipping relics that you can find, both to enhance the aquatic situation. And one of them, I believe, is located here. There's a couple of secrets in this place. There's one to the right that we can't access yet, but there's also one to the left. There we go. You can just make that leap. Oh shit. Hello. Yeah, there's mimics in here. It's a pot mimic. God damn it. Well, they're very useful. Ruined Witch's book increases aquatic movement speed. Grimoire that archives all manner of witchcraft and has taken on a witch's power. Rot of Blighted eats away at it, but its power... Yeah, we don't want to show that off. It's useful to have in combination with this new aquatic ability. There you go, it takes up 1 slot and increases aquatic movement speed, which is useful to have. Quite useful. There's quite a few aquatic beasties who will swim and chase after you. Well, in any case, that was Ender Lilies. Interesting metroidvania. Very relaxing game to play. The story is, for the most part, very in the background, and a lot of this items you can pick up, lore you can read through. Also, yeah, it's just one of those games that you can play while doing something else. You can divide your focus, because the story is not too much to be paid attention to constantly, contrary to some other games where you might constantly have important cutscenes or dialogues coming at you, and story you constantly have to pay attention to, or characters telling you things. Yeah, like for instance, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 3. That game, the story, there's constantly characters talking to you and explaining things to you, and sure, you don't have to pay attention to that, but you will miss the story if you're not constantly listening to the game and paying attention to it. So that is something quite relaxing to have in a game, to not have that story on the forefront, where it's kind of like in the background, well, so you can divide your attention doing other things, watching YouTube maybe. Yeah, so cool soundtrack too, relaxing game, cool gameplay. I don't even know if I've gotten halfway through the game yet. I enjoy it. Not planning to let's play it, it'll take too long. So yeah, this is it. Just a cool game. Wanted to show off. But I think it has reached a level of popularity. It's not super obscure. Yeah, definitely one I would recommend. So, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna stream Scarlet Nexus right after this. So, take care and see you around.